Operation Midnight Hammer, U.S. military's most tightly coordinated air missions in decades, precision strikes on Iran's hardened nuclear sites using advanced stealth bombers and bunker-busting bombs. The operation was swift, silent and strategic. Here's how the mission unfolded.
In a stunning overnight maneuver, U.S. pulled off largest B-2 bomber strike on Iran with deception and fighter cover. Operation Midnight Hammer, a bold and precision strike targeting Iran's nuclear infrastructure. Months in the making, the complex and high-risk mission involved over 125 aircraft and bombers deployed over the Pacific as a decoy. Before dawn broke in Iran, 8 KC-135 Stratotankers took off from Altus Air Force Base in Oklahoma towards V Air Force Base in Missouri, the ultimate home to the deadly B-2 Spirit stealth bomber fleet. Just hours later, 7 B-2 stealth bombers were already airborne. The silent giants were flying undetected across thousands of miles in West Asia. But not all planes headed east. To deceive Iran's defenses, a segment of the bomber fleet flew into the Pacific, creating a decoy trail, known only to a handful of military planners in Washington, D.C. In a surprise assault, 7 B-2 bombers under strict radio silence entered Iranian airspace. The lead bomber fired first, launching 2 massive bunker-buster bombs towards the Fordow facility at 6:10 a.m. local time. Within minutes, the remaining bombers released their payloads. In total, 14 bunker busters struck Fordow and Natanz. Moreover, at least 24 Tomahawk cruise missiles fired at Isfahan nuclear site from U.S. naval assets offshore. The mission was accomplished in a matter of just 25 minutes. Each stealth bomber is equipped with a 30,000-pound bunker busters. It is designated to penetrate up to 200 feet of earth or 60 feet of reinforced concrete. The only weapon that could have reached Fordow nuclear site that is buried deep in a mountainside. The US says the initial battle damage assessment indicated all 3 sites sustained severe damage, but it is too soon to say whether Iran still retains some nuclear capability.
I know that battle damage is of great interest. Final battle damage will take some time, but initial battle damage assessments indicate that all 3 sites sustained extremely severe damage and destruction.
But Iran claims no significant damage at the nuclear sites. It has vowed to retaliate.
There is no red line that they have not crossed. And the last one, and the most dangerous one, happened only last night, when they crossed a very big red line by attacking nuclear facilities. I don't know how much room is left for diplomacy. We are now calculating the damages.
US has sent out a larger message to Iran: seek peace or face greater force.
As President Trump has stated, the United States does not seek war. But let me be clear. We will act swiftly and decisively when our people, our partners, or our interests are threatened. Iran should listen to the President of the United States and know that he means it, every word.
The ball is now in Iran's court. Escalate or de-escalate, it faces grim choices for now. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
Jonathan Wachtel is a former senior policy advisor and director of communications and senior policy advisor at the U.S. mission to the United Nations. He is now joining us live from New York. Mr. Wachtel, welcome to the program. Trump's decision has sparked a global divide, with some supporting and others calling out the president for igniting an unwanted war between America and Iran. But now the real hit is in the Congress, where the Republican and Democratic members of Congress are defending war powers resolution. How do you think that will play out?
I don't see that, Eric, particularly having much traction at this point. We have to see how the course of this war goes. The U.S. posture is that this was a one-off, hopefully, and it will cause the regime in Iran to rethink their strategy in all respects, from its nuclear dimension to the ongoing fighting with Israel, and hopefully things will calm down. If it doesn't, then we can see the United States, this debate over whether it was justified to carry out these strikes or not, and there certainly is a lot of divisiveness here. Then this comes into play. But right now, there's going to be a pause to see what the next steps are going to be.
Mr. Wachtel, assessments are still being conducted in the 3 facilities for any levels of contamination or after effects. But in essence, what does America's action say about the IAEA? Has the agency lost its credibility?
The IAEA is a very complicated organization. On the one hand, it does a very good job in terms of helping peaceful nuclear activities, everything ranging from actually vector controls on mosquitoes all the way through to peaceful energy nuclear plants in countries around the world and monitoring things like that. When you hit the stakes of what we're talking about now, Arik, in which you have essentially a government in Iran that since 1979 has set out to conduct a revolution, literally that's what they call it, the Islamic Revolution, to have sway across the region ideologically, and to ensure that its power center is kept in check and hold and controlling swaths of the Western Asia, as you call it in India. We've got a problem here. So the IAEA has indeed actually certified, essentially, that Iran was not in compliance with its obligations, and it had been enriching at 60% and actually higher in one of the reports. And so Iran certainly had some sort of activity that had a military dimension to it, even acknowledged by the IAEA. So I don't understand your question, and happy to delve into it a little bit more about the relevancy of the IAEA, but certainly it was part of the calculus in terms of Israel's decision to strike out, and then we see the United States taking action.
Stay with that thought, Mr. Jonathan Wachtel. I'll come back to you because we have some breaking news coming in at this hour, and we do understand that Iran is sending a big message to the United States after strikes on its nuclear sites. Shamkhani, the advisor to Iran's Supreme Leader Khamenei, says, and I quote, "Even assuming the complete destruction of nuclear sites, the game is not over, enriched materials remain intact." In a post on X, he went on to say, and I quote again, "Indigenous knowledge, political will remains, will legitimate defense right, political and operational initiative is now with a side that plays smart, avoids blind strikes. Surprises will continue." Mr. Wachtel, Iran says surprises will continue. What should we expect in the coming week or days?
Well, certainly in terms of moving this activity to a peaceful pathway, certainly those are very defiant words and don't bode well in terms of that type of expectations or hopeful expectations in the coming days. Now, Iran claims that it has a peaceful nuclear program, which seems completely ludicrous when you have secret sites such as Fordow that was discovered a few years back. The IAEA didn't know about it. It was found through intelligence that they were actually enriching uranium in the site in this mountain. Why do you put a peaceful program into a mountain way down into the depths of a mountain if your agenda is to have just regular energy in the country? Even Marco Rubio and other U.S. leaders over the years and European leaders have not had an issue with Iran having a peaceful energy program with nuclear energy. It's this militarized activities and these clandestine activities that have created all this tension for decades. that have threatened Israel, that have threatened Saudi Arabia, the UAE, other countries Bahrain, other countries that just don't want to have a nuclear arms race and certainly don't want to have a Damocles sword hanging over their heads or the prospect of a nuclear exchange that might happen because of tensions in the region. And we have seen indeed that Iran has had this hegemonic activity from Lebanon all the way through to Iraq and down into Yemen, and even supporting countries like Venezuela in my hemisphere here in the United States, an autocratic regime here.
Mr. Jonathan Wachtel, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much for talking to us today.
Pleasure.